Alright, so you are the top of the top players that you know. You're probably the best player that you know of or play this game competitively. What can you get out of this stupid little demo that they released? There are some things. So, one thing that I don't think most people realize is you can actually have two versions of this demo. Or if you're really ambitious, you can actually get all three versions of this demo. If you noticed in the Splatoon 2 Direct, you can actually play at different times in Europe and the Americas and Japan. So, on my Switch, I actually have multiple accounts. I have one from the UK and I have one from the United States. So, I have the UK version and the US version, so I can play for a total of, I believe, 6 or 7 hours rather than the normal 4. And if you want to download Japan's as well, you can do that from the eShop as well. But you need to make a new account that is built in with the Nintendo Network accounts system in that region. So you can't simply switch your Switch's language or anything simple like that. You need to actually make an entirely new account. That being said, let's work into this nitty-gritty. So if you're watching this video, you probably don't need me to tell you. You need to center your camera, you need to shoot, you need to squid, you need to manage your ink. You just want to know, what can I actually do here? So, aside from the simplistic balloon popping and all of that, there's actually some cool stuff that you can do here. And I'm going to try to show you what I've found at least. So, I know a lot of people pointed out you can go up here, right? You can walk over this, you can jump down to the next area, speed run this level if you want. That's not necessarily useful information to me. I don't play this game to speed run it, I play it to be competitive in it. So, a lot of professional players these days actually use a faster way to turn, right? So, Splatoon 1 has found that if you try to turn just by moving the left joysticks up and down, you can turn at a certain speed. If you want to turn faster, you can actually shoot at the ground with some weapons, depending on the fire rate, right? So I'm actually turning faster. And the actual fastest way is to use your bomb aiming reticle here as the turning. So you can turn even faster. It's basically limited by how fast you can click and then unclick the left trigger. Practicing this can actually be very beneficial, and if you're very observant, you might realize that in Splatoon 1, when you turned like this, you could move for quite a distance without the splash of you moving coming up. But when you do this in Splatoon 2, it starts almost immediately. So that advantage is almost gone, but you can still turn very quickly. So another thing that a lot of Splatoon 1 players do is dashing using the taps, kind of. So you tap the left joystick up or down to move in the direction that you want to go. But in Splatoon 2, the devs kind of made this more obvious. So if you tap it all the way to the side, you're going to either move really slowly or you're going to get these little waves around you. So you can't be invisible while doing that. So what I found is you squid and you gently push up the right or the left stick, you can actually find a point where you're moving at a decent speed, completely undetected, without tapping. And the main difference between this and the last game is that if you look at this ink, it's all kind of blank, right? You can't see any ripples. So when I'm moving around, I don't actually create ripples like in the last game. you still made a little bit of a path that some advanced players could actually see, even if you aren't making these large ripples. But you see how the ink is kind of designed here in this kind of spinning pattern. That doesn't actually occur when you slowly move through the ink at any speed below the ripple effect. But as soon as you hit that one little point, you can actually start to see it. When you start getting those bigger ripples, you get a larger effect here. So that's something to work at. You can actually control it pretty well with the Pro Controller, I found. The Joy-Cons are a bit difficult, so I highly recommend using a Pro Controller if you're not already. Moving on, if you want to work on your bomb throwing, because I know the timing's a little bit different because there's different amounts of swim speed, bomb range up, all that kind of stuff, but there's actually a pretty good grate in here to try this with. It's right there. As you see, I threw it over it. It's not actually that easy to land it onto the grate. So if you kind of just swim up here and try to land it on top, it's not a bad exercise, because there's not much leeway if you try to throw it sideways rather than down straight that way. That way it's a lot easier. So if you want to practice, I would start that way and then start going this way. Anyways, let's move right along. Also, I believe I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but you can actually come back up here if you wanted to come back and try to do that again. And finally, I haven't seen anybody talk about this one, but there is a way to actually get back up this way. And it's not glitchy, it's not hacky, you can't swim up this, it's kind of weird, but you still can't get up there. It's actually this wall. It's very, very tight timing, so it's pretty good to practice your jumps, because if you swim up this, and bump, whatever, hit your head on the top, it's not going to let you over. So this is actually decent for practicing movement. Well, that time it worked. But you can get back up into that area through this route if you really want to. But it's pretty good to practice your timing anyways, to get the right angle for certain jumps that you may or may not be able to make. But once you're past that point, you can't really go back. So yeah, you basically have a mini version of Splatoon 2 at your fingertips. I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and I hope to see you all in the Splatfest. See ya.